You gotta be kidding me. No. Oh, no. No. Holy shit.
I nearly shot your head off.
Sam, you're okay.
Yeah, nothing I can't walk away from. It's good to see you're alive, little brother. Come on. We got a treasure to find.
Now, I'm going to do my best to talk about the story and what I thought about it without trying to spoil anything or give away too much about what's going on. So I'll just leave it at this. Basically, Uncharted 4, for me personally, it had, in terms of what the characters are going through, what they're experiencing, how they interact with one another, this is the one I cared for the most. It seemed like with this game story, it had the most heart put into it. I was with it the whole way through. The game never lost me. The pacing is fantastic. I'm not sure if the pacing is quite on the level of 2's, but that game's pacing was like near flawless, but it's still definitely up there in terms of other high quality games. So there's nothing to worry about with the story for me personally, as overall it was the best in. Uncharted 4 is hands down the best looking game I have played to date, and I think objectively it is the best looking game that has been created in the modern era. The level of detail is insane. Naughty Dog once again shows that they are definitely the ones that can show what the console they're working with can do, and it's almost scary to think about what they're going to do next with the PlayStation 4 if this is what they're able to do in only 20. From big things, from how the characters and the environment look and how detailed they are, to the little things like crevices and the foliage in the grass and the cracks on rocks. For me personally, this is the most detailed, well thought out in those little areas in any game I've ever. Drake's interactions with the environment feel real, and his interactions with other characters feel real. Even when it comes to stuff like the seamlessness between the beautiful cutscenes and the gameplay, no one comes close to making as riveting and immersive an experience as Naughty Dog in today's gaming landscape. The score of the game is also stellar, and the mood the soundtrack creates with every chapter and every area, and the emotions it invokes and the tension you feel in some areas is, to me, unmatched, and this is definitely the best sounding Uncharted in the entire series. In simply all the gameplay we've seen leading up to the release of Uncharted 4, I can definitely say that the gameplay was one of my most anticipated parts of the game, personally, because everything that we've seen just looked like a dream come true in terms of like a third-person shooter, and knowing Naughty Dog, they definitely did deliver. The gameplay is a dream, pretty much. It's almost crazy how tight and like in control you feel in these certain situations. Even during the set pieces and big moments, you still feel like you're in control. This isn't just something where you lay back and watch like a movie or something. This game is interactive, it's fun, and it's satisfying all the way through. Now, Uncharted 4 definitely does stick to the series, original gameplay in terms of cover shooting, but Uncharted 4 also emphasizes stealth mechanics, and I really like this change of pace, as with the more open levels and whatnot, it really allows you to tackle situations how you want. You can go guns blazing, even though it might be a little harder, instead of doing only stealth. But it's kind of like Metal Gear Solid 5 in that respect, in that if you do choose to do stealth, even though it is pretty difficult to stay in that stealth mode, it will be satisfying in the end, as you can definitely get through areas easier and not have to deal with constant gunfire and whatnot. So that change of pace I was really liking, and yeah, it was, you know, overall satisfying. Also, the hand-to-hand combat is solid. I really like the angles that it kind of takes in terms of like its cinematic approach when you are duking it out with someone. But I do kind of feel like you are in less control in those hand-to-hand situations as compared to Uncharted 3. I feel like that's where Naughty Dog really nailed it in terms of how exactly to do hand-to-hand combat, in terms of making you feel in control the whole time. But it's still solid all, and overall, gameplay is one of the strongest points of Uncharted 4. I'll also let it be known that the level design, like I mentioned before, it's almost ridiculous how well Naughty Dog crafts these different levels that you go through throughout the game. The connectivity of every area on the island you're going on and the different places of the world that you're exploring, it's all just almost magical in terms of how exactly they execute the areas and how you go about traveling in them. And the more open-endedness of this Uncharted, letting you explore those areas, definitely makes it feel like more of a grand adventure than any past Uncharted game. Now, unfortunately, I gotta say, the multiplayer is the one aspect of Uncharted 4 that's already starting to kind of lose me. Now, don't get me wrong, the gameplay does transfer over nicely to the multiplayer, and I did do my fair share of playing both the Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3 multiplayer, more so the third one, and I am aware of the problems that that game had when it comes to stuff like the kickbacks and the power plays and whatnot. But with this game, it just feels like there's more cons and more problems arise from them. Now, I don't particularly have a problem with stuff like mysticals and whatnot, but not giving people the ability to play game modes without those, and stuff like sidekicks and whatnot and revives, is for me personally a problem. They introduce all these new mechanics and they kind of just force them down our throats, and I'm not really too fond of them, and it makes the game seem almost too casualized and too barren, just by the fact that there's only 4 different game modes and 2 of them are practically the same. There's a team deathmatch and a ranked team deathmatch. There's not many maps. I think there's 8 total, but the map cycle itself, it just depending on what lobby you're in, it's pretty much a toss-up in terms of which ones you get. So you're not really playing all of the maps too often, and in fact I haven't even seen one of them yet. I've only played on 7 of them. Also, it feels like they did get the character customization down, they just didn't really add a whole lot else, and overall the multiplayer just feels barren because of that. And they are adding a lot more later, but it seems like there's a lot of things that should have been there on release and they're just missing. And overall, the multiplayer just feels a little stale to me already, and I even see a lot of other people complaining about the same thing. And if the multiplayer does stay like this for a long time, then I don't really see it having strong legs to stand on, as these other multiplayer games start dishing out, like Battleborn just a week ago, and stuff like Overwatch and the other shooters that start coming out. Now, overall, Uncharted 4: A Thief's End is definitely hands down one of the best PlayStation 4 games to date, and definitely one of the best games to come out this generation. And I feel like this game was the perfect swan song for Nathan Drake's story and the rest of the characters in the world of Uncharted. Now, fans of the series probably own this game, but to all those looking for something absolutely stellar, and given all the love of its developers, look no further than the Uncharted series in its entirety, as I give this game and its predecessors my highest recommendation. Thank you guys for tuning in to my review of Uncharted 4: Thief's End. I hope you liked the video, and if you did, please leave a like, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe for future videos. Now, with more things coming out later, I'm actually already working on another review, And as more games start coming out and E3 is right around the corner, expect a lot more videos in the coming week. I'm also on Twitter and Twitch, so if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can click the annotation, or it's also in the description down below. And on Twitch, I do sometimes stream. I'm trying to get into that more recently, but I will be streaming a lot more in the coming weeks. So if you also want to click that annotation or check out in the description, you can follow me there to see when I'm streaming. And I'll also be posting on Twitter what exactly I will be streaming or what games I'm currently playing. So if you want to check those, please do. So thank you guys for all watching, and take care.
So can I count on you? One last time.
All right, kid. Let's go do it. One last time.